really important in an organization like this to be bringing up the folks that are going to be grappling with the problems of our day. And I was delighted that Shameen signed up for a class that I recently offered in language and sexuality. And Shameen Arfuso is a student in the Transformative Leadership Program at California Institute of Critical Studies, where I'm in the anthropology faculty. And she came to me with this whole question as herself someone who had been through some really difficult experiences around sexual violence, and looking at how the labels that she was hearing and being applied to others, were actually rather problematic. And so we began a collaboration that I hope will be now a lifelong collaboration. And once you're my student, you're always my student. Sorry, you're stuck with me. So it's with a great pleasure that I bring forward Shameen Arfuso, who will talk to us about dangerous labels, breaking the cycle of abuse by shifting the lexicon of sexual violence. Welcome, Shameen.
Thank you, Matthew. What you guys don't know is this is kind of something I've been working on myself for probably about 10 years, but Matthew really helped me to put the language together with it and put the academia behind it. And I'm kind of really glad that he did his presentation before mine, because he really touched on what I'm going to talk a little bit deeper about today, is about how language affects our thinking and how that affects our feeling and how that subsequently plays into the cycle of violence. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a couple of news clips. It's from San Francisco State University, their Express magazine. And I want you to take a look at the language that is used and the story that is portrayed with this language. So first we have bulimia, a man's struggle for identity and survival. Dad in darkness, aimless search for a father figure leads to disaster, but one woman surpasses the struggle. Survival, a young woman's battle with cancer. And rape on the rise, reports of sexual violence in San Francisco are increasing, and one victim chooses not just to survive, but thrive. So I want a little participation here. What are the words that keep coming up in each scenario? Anyone?
Battle.
Battle, yeah. Survive. How about struggle?
Yeah.
So you have the words victim and survivor being paired with these terms battle and struggle. And that's basically what we're talking about today, is how our language frames how we're thinking. So next I have another little clip I want to show you, and actually I'm going to make a little joke. I learn visually, so that's why I put a PowerPoint presentation together. I'm just a super visual learner, and that's what works for me, but I'm glad you talked about it. I thought it was pretty funny. So anyways, this clip is Amy Mullins, and she was speaking at a TED conference. And for those of you who don't know who Amy Mullins is, she lost both her legs when she was 1 year old, and she later competed in the Paralympics. Now she's on the motivational speaking circuit, so she's kind of a big deal.
So it's not just about the words. It's what we believe about people when we name them with these words. It's about the values behind the words and how we construct those values. Our language affects our thinking and how we view the world and how we view other people.
So I thought this was so powerful when I saw this, because she's talking about the ability for words to affect our thinking. Now what she's talking about previously in this presentation is she's talking about when she looked up the word disabled. Now according to society, she is labeled as disabled. However, if you look at her or you know anything about her, she doesn't identify with that at all. And so she started considering how much it held her back being identified as disabled. So I have a quote here for you, and it's essentialized categories of identity obscure the cross-cutting nature of social experience and identification. So what we're talking about here, essentialized categories such as victim and survivor are static, and our experience is constantly changing. So I know I heard you say something about it too as well, Matthew. When we're putting that label on it, we're inhibiting that individual's ability ability to adjust and shift and heal and move forward in their lives. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take a look at those individual terms. So first we have victim as a label. So the really key concepts that came up here: put to death, destined to suffer, perishes or suffers. So basically the story created by victim is I'm a victim and I'm destined to suffer. So you're static in that story, in that identity. And, we were talking about time and linear versus cyclical. When does it end? When you're saying destined to suffer, I don't hear an end point in there. So next I have another little clip, and this is another woman, and it's an interview that was done a year after she was sexually assaulted. And once again, I want you to pay attention to the language that is used, the emotions that are going on, and the story that's being portrayed.
An IT investigator, Suzanne Dale, talks with the woman who survived Ollinger's attack. She hopes today's sentence means a new start for her. Suzanne is live at the Hall of Justice.
I'm convinced we're going to get better, but it's just as hard. It's really hard.
Sheila Treckle is trying to move past a brutal rape she survived 1 year ago. Tuesday, her
I couldn't wash my hair.
emotionally, she is still trying to heal.
I've had a lot of suicidal thinking about suicide. I have nightmares all the time, and I've put my family through a lot over this.
Sheila Treckle now plans to get some counseling. And
So the important thing here is they're saying emotionally she's still trying to heal. Instead of putting that label on her and that identity, they're giving room for her personal experience, because going through trauma, there's a healing process that takes place that can't be pinpointed by one term or another. So next we're looking at the term survivor. This said, remaining alive after another death in which others perish. Now, this will make a little bit more sense when I show you the next slide, but to me, when I look at the term survivor, it doesn't feel much better than the term victim. Now, I know a lot of people have found great solace in identifying themselves as survivor, but once again, what we're talking about is the underlying meaning, the underlying message that is coming with that. And we're looking at the same questions again.